now tuned in to Get Lifted. Enjoy. Awesome. Dirty is the new 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Hefa, the boss.
CrisxmasOD. SmileyJizzle in the building, yo. We here, y'all.
And we have a special guest today. She's not gonna be on camera, and her name is Lisa.
Got allergies, y'all. So.
How was everyone's weekend?
It's pretty chill. It was straight. Had to do some driving.
It was eventful.
Right. I wanted to see Final Destination this weekend because
It came out already?
Came out Friday.
Yeah, you know I'm dumb because they must have this new thing for like deaf people in the movie. So when you go look at the Showtime, it said assisted listening device, and it says closed caption, and it has a narration. But I didn't see the assisted listening device part, so I thought all the regular tickets were sold out, and that it's only was for deaf people, and that they're gonna be talking and put the caption on it. But then I went back and looked and said assisted listening device, so I'm assuming they give them a device and that'll have the caption and the narration. So we were supposed to go, because I went and searched the whole month up to June, and I'm like, there's no way all these stuff is sold out. And I'm like, that must, and then I seen it say assisted listening device, so they must give you something for the how is that? But that don't even make sense. Assisted listening device, but you deaf. So, well, I mean, I guess maybe it's for people.
That means that they got a lot of money and they got a specific device so that they can still hear through whatever they probably putting on their ear. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, so maybe they have their own.
Yeah.
And
unless, because listening would mean that they have to hear it. But if they have like some
they got the
caption or something
the narration
like
said that
they would
too.
say that.
Yeah, it said all three. It said closed caption. It's gonna have the narration, and I looked at different movies, not just one different day. I went for months up to June or weeks out, and it all said that. But yeah, it must be the device. Maybe it does the narration and the closed caption. But
they got bread and they doing that.
That's fire.
Hook this on your ear when you go in there and enjoy the movie.
It is every movie theater. Not well. I looked at
for Cinemark or Bowtie.
Well, Bowtie is closed down.
All Bowtie is closed down.
Well, I didn't look. But I know the one downtown was. But I looked in Trumbo. I looked in Milford, and I looked in North Haven. I looked in Manchester, and they all said the same thing. It said narration, assisted listening device, and closed caption.
That's gotta be a thing, like, you know, you gotta have stuff for the impaired people.
Yeah, that's fine, but I was just confused because this is the first time I ever seen that, so I thought
I asked a dumb question earlier, like, what's I wonder if blind people has like something to watch movies. Like, they can't see it, but like, you know, like back in the day, like Orson Welles and you know, like him. You could hear stuff on the radio and stuff.
He wasn't blind.
No, but he was telling the story.
Didn't he tell stories on the radio and stuff? That was Orson Welles, right? That was the guy that.
Yeah, the hitchhiker, or I think, and we did that in school. Like we listened.
Remember we used to listen to Tom Joyner's stories on the radio?
Oh yeah, It's Your World.
Yeah.
It was like a time because people didn't always have TVs. TVs was like something new, right? Then TVs come out in like the 50s or the 70s or something,
And then they had silent films too.
But they always had the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what the Orson was. It would just be audio. It wasn't all.
I mean, society's changing. Like I seen something where I kind of want to talk about this. I seen something with women that graduated from med school. I mean, I'm sure men have done it too, but they highlighted that this young lady graduated from med school. She went through all the work that she had to go through, and she graduated from med school at a very young age, like 23. So that's crazy. I mean, she went straight after high school, went to med school, did her 4 years, did her additional 4 years, completed that, and at 23, she's an accomplished anesthesiologist. That's the person that gives you.
When she got out of school, when she was 16.
I don't know. Probably some of these kids are.
Med school.
She graduated.
Right.
She graduated.
That's like
Yeah.
6 years.
You missed the graduate, huh?
She
You
probably.
could graduate when you're 16, 17.
No, well,
depending on
all
when
right.
you're-
So if you go to college, like let's just say, essentially, people get out of school probably like 18 or 17 years old, like right. So you get out of school, you graduate. You can go directly to college.
Right. So that's
Your counselors usually will tell you to
18,
take a break. But if she went to
21.
school exactly when she got out of
That would be the
school,
normal.
that would be normal, like
Or
23.
but
But it's not
23
normal
and
for people
21.
because people
you
don't
can
go.
only be 21. And
No,
if you
it's 8 years because you go to 4 years for med school and then you have to go to 4 years after that for your
did,
particular
you would be older
field.
than 23.
Or at least 6.
But that's if they don't go right to college after. Like some people take a break or what they call it, sabbatical. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
When they
that
take
would
a
be-
break from school or something.
That would be about right. Between 23 and 25, I would say would be the normal age if you went straight to.
Right. But I'm just saying it's
From
not.
But a lot of
It's
people
not
are doing
usual.
it younger than that. Some people
Yeah.
went to college and graduated.
There
when
was
they
a
were
girl
19.
that just graduated from college and she's only 19 or something like
Yeah,
that.
now
'Cause
that would be
she was a
earlier
prodigy.
than the normal.
She was a prodigy. She went to college at like 14 or 15.
Yeah, and I've been seeing a lot of black.
It's not
That's
normal,
that
but
melanin magic. Shout out to our our people.
Yeah,
Like, cause
yeah.
coming up, I've been seeing
now
a lot of
now given that she graduated from med school in 23, but she got a gold too, and
I
she was
think-
showing it off, and people started.
Melvin's little friend that went to school with him, they called him Nunu. They used to call him gay. He just graduated with his bachelor's.
And what?
I forgot. Because his grandmother was my friend. I went to school with her. They was at his graduation. And she said, my grandson, doctrines. She said, he's going to be Dr. I forgot his name, Rias. I said, okay.
So you got
Cam.
a doctorate.
Oh,
He got his doctorate, yeah. She said, y'all going to be calling
I
him
got a PhD.
doctor. I forgot what his name was.
But a doctorate in what? Is he a
Right.
medical doctor? Because you could be.
I don't know.
A
She just said he
principal
got
and
his
get your
doctorate,
doctorate. Yeah,
his
yeah.
bachelor's in something, and they gonna be. She said y'all gonna. She said he gonna be Doctor somebody. She said I forgot his name, but I knew his nickname. They called him Nunu.
That's awesome.
I mean, that is good, but I will say it do matter because sometimes people be
Bless you.
getting, bless you, sometimes people be getting degrees or something, then it don't sound like, because it'll be like bachelor's on it, but if it's a bachelor's
if you
in
got-
arts,
Yeah.
and then you ain't doing, so that do make it,
So
because
anybody got his bachelor's in medical, I mean, he's a
In medical, that's different.
medical doctor.
And if we got it in medical, then he should be working in a hospital or something, making
Mario got
Big
his,
Hauser, right?
Doogie Howser.
his bachelor's in nursing.
Hmm.
They smart. They
It's a demand for male nurses too. Like a lot of dudes don't be nurses.
yeah,
Him
you
and
like
his
to
wife
work
is
with
in
their
there.
hands typically, but there are
I mean, you
men
could work
that-
with your hands and be a surgeon.
I ain't sound like
No, but I mean, physical labor, like a surgeon.
I mean,
like,
a surgeon
you gotta
you
be,
gotta be a savant if you a surgeon. You
woman-
gotta be a beast.
a woman could do that too. A woman could do the other stuff too. I guess they be wanting to. But I mean, like construction and stuff like that. Most men prefer jobs like that. There are men that would be a less physically strenuous job.
Mhm.
But on average, I think most men do those type or like a warehouse worker or something like that if they're an average person. But then nowadays, content creation is becoming more popular. A lot of people, or remote job, a lot of people working from home. So.
Are y'all on the podcast?
So yeah, did you guys know about? We talked about the GoFundMe, right?
Yeah.
For Meg's well, Tory's assailant.
They made a GoFundMe for
Assaulter,
Raven
right?
Simone's father on That's
What
a
happened
Raven.
to
I
Tory?
donated $10.
He got stabbed 14 times while he was in prison.
Just now?
A few days ago. Yeah, a few days ago, not too late.
Who is he?
Tory Lanez.
Tory
Remember
Lanez,
when they said he shot
The
Megan
guy
Thee
that
Stallion?
redid what's their name? Brownstone's song? Say It. He redid that song? Yeah, him.
You gonna have
He
to
been
do
in jail
more
for like
than
3
just
years
say
now.
it.
What did he
Or
do?
2 years
They
maybe.
said he shot Megan Thee Stallion and he went to court.
Okay.
But supposedly, right?
Her friend
We don't
did,
know if
they
it's
said.
true, but new
Allegedly.
information is coming out saying that her friend actually shot her in the foot, and the security guard is saying, "Oh, I feel so guilty. I wish I would have came forward before because my conscience won't let me live with it. It's eating me up, all this other stuff." So now
He was paid off.
So now he's
Other
saying,
people are saying that
so
too,
now
before
he's saying
Cap,
that
like other
the girl,
heard of
her
it.
friend, actually shot him in
People
the
knew.
foot, and
Kelsey.
he knows that they did it, but instead he kept it to himself.
Because then, if that
Wow.
makes sense, why would her and Kelsey stop talking if Tory really shot her? That don't even
and
make
the
no
story
sense.
was that they were dating or they was messing around. Meg Thee Stallion and Tory. They were all in the car together. Apparently, he was messing with Kelsey too, and she found out about it. They got into it, and then it was an accident. Then that's why she tried to cover it up and say he did it because Kelsey didn't mean to shoot her, and that's why she never said anything at first. Like you never heard.
And
that
then
from
for
Kelsey.
this woman to go online and be like, yeah, Tory shot me and he told me to dance, bitch. I was like, what? You made that whole thing up just because you was mad that your friend had sex with Tory and then she shot you?
Is he all right? He's in critical.
He
father
talking.
He recovered.
just
Yeah,
like-
he's
He
talking.
recovered.
Yeah, he do.
It's crazy.
He do.
Like he gonna look like that when he
He's
goes.
making
If he
a
get
speedy
over it,
recovery,
well,
supposedly.
Yeah, because he's talking now. Yeah, but they really
They try and get him out of there though, because they don't think he's gonna last much longer. And the dude that stabbed
They
him,
made a GoFundMe page.
they made a GoFundMe page for him. And
that stabbed him.
He's like a pedophile.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I can't say
That's
that.
what he's in there
He's
for.
a
PDF.
PDF,
Fine.
and he's just I think he abused a young girl or something like
He
that.
taking people out.
He did a
I
whole
think
bunch of stuff.
I think he got murder on his.
Did a whole
record.
bunch of stuff,
Mhm.
and they're praising him. And he's like, I think he's Spanish.
Yeah, he Mexican.
Because some people believe that
That's
he really
crazy.
shot her. Because when he went to jail, they were like, "Oh, justice, blah blah blah."
That it's
Yeah,
not
but
justice.
he didn't
The
believe
person
that.
was innocent.
I think.
How's that justice?
Yeah, I don't think.
Because there's
I don't
people
think
that
he's
believe
that.
that.
No, I'm
You're
saying
right,
for
right.
those people.
But
no
I don't
response
think-
to those people.
I don't think that this was over, like, oh, like he did it. Nah, I think this was literally just, especially him being a pedophile, I
Right.
think this is a paid situation. He's like, yo, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, the best I could get is commissary. The best I could get is some money on my books. And people are willing to do things for that
Right.
if they get paid off. You see what I'm saying?
Man, you
now
can
I'm
get-
not
you can
assuming.
get,
I'm not
you can get
saying
murked in
Meg
prison
did it.
for a pack of cigarettes.
You're right. You're right. I'm not saying Meg did it, and I'm not saying this definitely happened, but I'm definitely saying that it makes more sense for, especially when the news came out that this dude is innocent. It makes more sense that there would be a hit targeted on him by people that
What
don't
is it
want
they're-
him out.
What do you feel like they're trying to silence him?
Yeah. Because think about it. If he gets out, not only the Meg situation, right, where they lied on him, his, like, that whole side is going to be investigated. And if Jay do have something to do with it,
Here
then,
it comes.
you know what I mean?
Here it comes.
Then
Here
the
it comes.
spotlight goes
Here
to
it comes.
him.
We might as well just talk about Jay-Z.
Think about it like
We know.
this. Think about it like
Right.
this. I believe if they're coming after Diddy, they're going to come after Jay too. 100%. And Jay is trying to.
That means
Jay's trying to separate
that means
himself.
that Diddy's giving names.
Of course. Especially if Diddy gets off, 100%. 100%. And if I was Diddy and I found out that Jay totally acted like he doesn't even know me, guess what? It makes sense that he would give Jay.
What was Christopher Williams' character's name in New Jack City?
He would say, "I ain't like you anyway."
Oh, you like
What was his name? What was his name? Yeah,
I forgot.
What's his name? Hakeem. You
Hakeem.
remember?
Yeah, Hakeem. Or
Hakeem. He was like, that's the man. He's behind everything. He's the brains behind the whole operation.
Hakeem.
That's what Diddy about to do. Diddy about to get up there. He want to do that. He want to do that to Cassie.
Bro, that's crazy.
She's the brains behind the whole operation.
But that's what it's looking like. She
is the brains behind the whole operation. It looks like it is, even though she's not. But when you take the stand, no, obviously he's the mastermind. But when you take the stand after you've already taken a $50 million payout, and then you take the stand and bring up how much you were involved in whatever he had going on to corroborate this, asking for GHB, her whole testimony is transcribed. So they got it written out. So you can read it online, literally, line by line, everything that they're talking
but she
about.
has to memorize that and remember when she's getting cross-examined.
You don't have to memorize it if it's the truth.
Exactly, E, you're right. So that's why I believe that she's not as innocent.
Like that, you wouldn't have
that's why I believe she's not as innocent as people are trying to make her seem. But this is like, why is this?
People keep saying, "Oh, she was 19." Listen to me. In the eyes of the law, when you're 18, you're an adult.
Yeah,
so from that point on, her interactions with Diddy was legal. So although she may not have been ready in the physical, in her mind probably wasn't there, but she was an adult. So they can't, you know what I'm saying? Everything she did with a conscious mind. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Stop saying that he prayed mentally. But in the eyes of the law, you can't cherry pick. You can't make things work when you want it to work. You know what I'm saying? The law says at 18 you're an adult. So if she was 19 and he was 37, she still was an adult.
Do you feel like he's a monster though?
I feel like he's a monster because of I don't know about their personal life. All I'm doing is hearing this. But they're charging him for racketeering and bringing, other like that. This man is on trial for. And if he's guilty of that, then he should go to jail. Okay? But his personal life, the freak offs and stuff, these grown people made a conscious choice to go there. What these people do in Hollywood sexually, we don't have no idea. That's how they live. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Right. That's their world.
But what about the people that say that they were drugged?
The people that say that they were drugged, that's something they need to investigate.
And they woke up their butt.
That's something they need to. That's something they need to investigate and find out if that's true. And if they find that to be true, he needs to be held accountable for that.
Didn't the actor say that? The actor said he stepped on some of his alcohol at a party and he felt crazy.
Yeah, but they got.
But that's not what he
on trial. You can't just say that man did that to you, and you know what I'm saying.
You're right.
But they gotta prove.
And the problem is when you wait. I don't know why people. There's different reasons why people wait or whatever. Sometimes they're scared. Sometimes they don't come for or whatever. But the problem with doing that is
they don't have the proof.
Yeah, because it's all gone. You don't take a shower. Unless you recorded yourself.
And I think they should throw it out. Exactly. If they don't have the proof for these allegations, then they need to be thrown out.
Yeah, that's what you need proof. Because how do you know?
20 years later and say, "Oh, I was at a party. I was at one of Diddy's freak off, and he drugged me." And I know he drugged me without no proof. I don't want to hear that. You can't do that. But they just, they're
but what about the people that have been abused and they don't have proof, but they really were? And
bottom line, Diddy is one
and that's the problem with lying
people.
too, because because so many people make up things like this, it's made everyone desensitized or hard to believe the people that are telling the truth. Because,
or it happened before.
Especially when you have an allegiance to these people. Like, a lot of people don't want to view him a certain way because he's Diddy. We love the artist's music that he told the stories of our child, or through our childhood we grew up listening to these music or all his different artists, even some of his songs. I don't think he's a good rapper, but I like some songs that he made. I like them. Can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me. Like, I like Diddy. I like the artists that he produced. 112, B.I.G., Faith Evans,
Oh, he has some
Vanity
bad
Kane,
Mhm.
the
Well,
list
I never
goes
was
on.
a fan of Diddy as a producer,
Mhm.
you know, but I've heard, you know, I've heard how he did these people, and I heard he was arrogant, he wasn't a good guy. But I still, you can't, you know how many people, producers and, you know, high up people in
that would be a
Hollywood
civil suit.
are like that. You can't just throw people in jail because of that. If he's guilty of these things that they're accusing him of, then yes, he should go to jail.
Yeah, and if it comes to business where it's an issue, then that should be a civil suit where you're trying to get, you know, money or reimbursed for whatever. That's civil. That's not.
Those
There's
are
no.
two
You're not
different
going to jail for that. You just might have to pay something if they win or whatever.
Bottom line, Diddy got his money and his power. They're ready to take it from him, and it's time to pay the piper. And now it's his turn, you know.
Facts.
So it is what it is.
Facts.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I just want to say, and I don't think I agree. She's not because she allowed it to happen. Like that is crazy, but it also speaks to like what is wrong with you. That because the stuff that she said is crazy.
Mhm.
Like, and you did that because you loved him, or
No.
like if you
She
did that
wanted
because
to-
you love him.
She ain't gonna.
Something is wrong with
she's
you.
not
Like you
gonna
obviously
admit
were
it.
just thinking with your heart and not your brain. Because if you really didn't want to, or if you did want to sleep with all those men at once, 4 men, 3 men at a time, and all this
Listen,
different stuff, then something is wrong with you for you to even be okay with that
she's not gonna
and
tell
want to
the
be
truth.
drugged. And but she said what happened. She said she was a
No,
willing
she's not gonna
participant.
admit that.
Troll.
Cassie was looking for
What they
star
say?
status. She was looking for a come up, and she knew that this stuff it came with a price. And it seemed like she was willing to do whatever to get where she wanted to be. You stayed with him 10 plus years and all this stuff going on. Then when she find, you know what I'm saying? You can't
And that's
can't
why
make her
I said,
be so.
no, she
like
is.
she's
She
so
allowed it to
innocent.
happen. That's
yeah,
correct.
she made a conscious
But what
choice.
I'm saying is, outside of that, what is wrong with her? Because for you to be willing to do that, whether either if you wanted to
She
do it on
wanted-
your own or if you
Same.
wanted the money, something is wrong with you if you're doing crazy stuff like that for money. Like you don't have no soul or something. I don't know. You weren't raised
Diddy was
properly.
gonna put
You
her
were
on it. She was gonna be
molested
the
maybe
next-
as a child.
The
Because
next
I don't
dude-
know.
the next
something
who?
crazy.
The next
Something is-
Carisha.
that's not normal. I don't
Carisha
think
got
about
the
things
movie
like
deal.
that. I don't
Yeah,
dream
she
about
said,
Carisha-
getting
Yeah.
railroaded
I'ma
by
be- I'ma
multiple
out
men
to
at
all
a
his-
time.
Yeah.
That's not
all his
something that I've
artists, I'ma
ever
be-
wanted to do. I
Carisha
never
got her
wanted
own
to get.
show.
See?
Carisha got all of the stuff that
trying to
Cassie
get a
was
come
supposed
up.
to
I
get.
never wanted to get drugged and then get gang banged. Like that was never
But
a
you
desire
stayed
of
there.
mine.
I don't know.
So I feel like if someone is thinking like that, something wrong with you.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
you're not
That's right.
normal.
People trying to feel sympathy.
Some people are freaks,
Like
though.
maybe
You
she
gotta
was
understand.
abused as a child. I don't know, cause
Yeah.
I'm trying to
She
gain
had both her
understanding of why.
parents.
Just
Yeah,
because
she
their
did.
both parents was there, that don't.
Yeah, don't mean she ain't get it.
But it's just, I'm just
And then
saying.
her husband,
it's
what-
crazy.
But
What part
something
did
is
he
wrong. Do
play?
you not agree?
He,
You think
he
that's
used
a
to,
normal
he used to
woman?
work. He used to
Normal
work
women think
with Diddy.
like
He
that?
was, he was a Diddy
Normal women
personal
want
Oh, yeah,
trainer.
he's
to
trying
do
to get
things
some
like
money,
that. You
too.
think that's normal?
What?
Because of books like
He put a buzz
the
in
Gray,
Cassie
the
ear.
Gray book, yeah, y'all nasty, yo. Y'all nasty.
So you think most women like to do stuff?
Most
like that?
women that mess with rich dudes like that, yes, 100%.
You don't know.
Well, most
Yes.
women don't mess with rich dudes.
You
but
can't speak for
unless
all
it's
women,
only
'cause
a
you don't
small.
know.
I'm just speaking for the people that I know that have money.
So from
their
your
women are different
anecdotal
from the people that
experience.
don't have money. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying they're way more submissive than the women that make more than their
I
significant
said, do they
others.
want to do it? Being submissive, you could submit without wanting to do it. I said, do they want to do it? Because that's what she giving.
If
She
if
didn't
you
say
if
she
you
did it 'cause
if you
she
didn't
wanted
want
to
to do it, like, you know what I mean, there's some guys that
They said,
like,
I didn't want to do it, but
yeah,
I'm getting all this money.
there's some guys that could really tell, like, yeah, this person really doesn't want to do it. I don't want to do it with this person.
Women are getting
There
paid
is guys that
to
you
let-
know they don't care. They're probably grapists.
to let a guy poo on their chest.
Yeah, like look at the dudes in
Or
Abu Dhabi
doodle
for the
on their
bread.
chest.
They're not gonna respect somebody like that.
For-
yeah, you gotta
for
look like you like it.
$100,000. They fly them out. They
Mhm.
doodle on their chest. They send them back home. with $100,000.
I guarantee you, they're
And
not like.
some girls
Ew,
they
why
talk about it.
Yeah.
They talk about it on podcasts and they explain.
They're
like,
not
girl
getting
Blue,
pooed
But
on
I
and
think that's
complaining.
most
stuff.
women. That's a
Blue,
small percent of
I'm
women.
just
and
saying
I've
the
seen
women that
them
do it. That's what I'm
But
saying.
that's
For the money.
Something is wrong with them is what I'm asking you. Do you not
Yes,
agree?
wrong
Yes,
with them or
you know
they
what's
need
wrong.
money?
You know what's wrong with them. Their morals is unfit for your morals, and I understand that. But if you're saying something mentally is wrong with them, no.
It's
There's
the
a lot
same
of
as
people that will do
OnlyFans.
It
anything
is
for
something.
money.
I would think there's something mentally wrong with them because that's not normal.
Absolutely
That's
not.
not
I
So
don't
you-
care how much
absolutely
money
not.
you're
But that,
getting
but it's
paid.
for
Absolutely
right.
not.
So
Absolutely
for
not.
them, it's normal because you're not gonna take $100,000. You could wash doodle off. That's what they're
That's the
saying.
mentality,
So they
and
thinking
that's what I'm
you
saying.
not normal for
And-
not taking that
And that's
money.
what I'm saying.
That's what they think. But
And
that's
that's
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying.
morals.
But that's
Exactly.
what we saying.
Exactly.
That's what we saying.
You got to be a
it doesn't
person
make
that
sense.
doesn't
But
have
what
morals.
I'm
And if
saying
you don't
is
have
they have
morals,
moral
But I'm
then
saying,
you're not a good
what
person.
causes you besides
To not
the
have
money
morals?
yeah. Where does that stem from?
It
To
could
make
be a
you go
trauma.
to the buck-
It could
'cause
be a
there's
trauma.
Women.
It
You
could
might
be-
do something for money,
Mhm.
but where is the limit?
It could
So
be
that's
trauma.
what
Right,
determines
everybody has
the-
their limitations.
where does that come from?
So,
that you would be willing with two parents,
Mhm.
you would be willing
if a
to
person says how much would you do this for, and they leave you a blank check, and they could say you put any amount that you want, and you put that amount, that's how much you consider yourself worth.
I'm
Your
asking
worth,
you.
whatever.
I think she was having
But that's
fun.
what I'm saying.
I
Some
think
people have a
Cat-
price.
I think-
Everybody has some
I think
type
more
of
than
price.
more than the price though,
If you
Smiley.
have something
More
going
than
on
the
in your
price
life.
though, Smiley, is she's having fun too. This is
Oh,
what
she's enjoying
this
it.
is what I'm
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
So all I'm saying is
For a
enjoy it.
woman to be having fun doing that,
Mhm.
it's a deeper issue. It's more
You're
than
right.
just morals.
But
and
is it-
stuff
you're
like
right.
that.
She was addicted
You're right,
to the
but is
drug,
it ever
too.
gonna get
'Cause
changed?
she asked-
To want to get drugs,
Is-
like you're
is it ever gonna
asking,
get-
like,
Is it ever gonna
DHB,
get?
like,
Is it
that's
ever gonna
not
get
normal.
adjusted?
That's not like
Do you think that
smoking a
she's?
blunt.
Do you
Like,
think that she's gonna go
you
and get
damn
these trauma
near passed
fixed?
out with that. You do. The people did pass out. So for you to want to be passed out or close to it while you're having sex with people, which
Mhm.
that would tell me you don't want to feel it. You don't want, because otherwise you would be awake for it. Why would you be telling them
Now
to go get
imagine-
the stuff? That's the only way you can deal with it.
Now
That's
imagine
what it
how
sounds
her.
like to me.
Now
You don't
imagine
agree?
how her husband feels.
Like people might
Now
drink,
imagine
or
how her
something, but they
husband
don't
feels.
drink to have sex unless you have a problem
gotta
or you
watch
need to
it.
loosen up. or
Every
something.
court case. Now imagine how her husband feels. He gotta watch and hear this.
He walked out.
You know
he
what I'm
walked
saying?
out of one of the
I would have walked out of her life. You gotta think, bro.
That
Like,
was
But,
his
but
trainer.
hold on.
That was
I
Diddy's
disagree with
trainer.
that though, bro.
That was
Nah.
Diddy's
If that,
trainer.
if you gonna hold her
Nah.
down, you gotta hold her down on the way. You can't walk out on
He
her.
probably just didn't want
'Cause she-
everybody
'cause she
else
having
to
a
know.
problem.
No. There is a difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying. What
Okay.
I'm saying is she literally told him this is what it is. She would have to tell me, hey, this is what it is for it to be respected. So if he knew what it is and he went in the situation and no new evidence, okay, cool, I understand what you're saying. But what I'm saying is there was things in that trial that made him say, yo, I didn't hear this from her. And this is what I'm saying. Like, now he's looking at her different.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That is her fault, 100%.
It's her fault for
Or
him to be
some-
looking at
or-
her different.
No, it's her fault for not preparing him for the truth. If you knew some wild, grimy shit happened and
But
you
he
were...
probably did.
Hold on. So,
She probably did.
but
Or-
all I'm saying is, if you felt like, damn, I gotta walk out the court, then she didn't.
Because it might have been too
She
much.
didn't prepare you
It
for
might
it.
have been too much. 'Cause
Exactly.
She's an emotional wreck.
So you're
Hold on,
supposed to
she's
leave.
Look, check it out. She's an emotional wreck. She's pregnant. And she may have told him some stuff, but maybe didn't really give detail. And they're asking for stuff, and she's trying to build a case. So her lawyer is probably saying, "Look, you gotta tell him how awful all this stuff is," because her lawyer probably knows all of this.
Once
stuff.
the lawyer knows more than the husband, the baby father,
that's the ego
dynamic.
thing. That's
It's
the
not
thing,
ego.
Because the
It's
lawyer's
not
job
ego.
is to protect their
How
client.
can I be your provider and protector as your
Because
man?
you're gonna be a distraction. You're gonna be like, I don't want you to go up there and say that,
and
or
that's-
I don't want you to do this or
and-
do that.
and
or
that's
whatever.
why
and
he
the
needs-
lawyer
and that's why he-
understands that could be a conflict.
and that's why he needs. And that's
it's
why
too
he needs to
emotional to
leave.
deal with what
And
needs
that's
to be
why
done
he needs to
to
leave,
do this,
bro.
to build a
Listen.
case.
That's just
To
the
keep
facts
her
of
out of
what
prison.
happened to to her, bro.
Right.
We're not talking about the case. We're talking about how her husband feels when he hears information that she submitted
She's not
from
trying
him.
to convince.
Listen. It's not about convincing nothing.
It is. She's trying to convince the jury, not her husband. Her husband should be rocking with her anyway if that's her husband.
That's bullshit.
If you with her for the right
You shouldn't be rocking with somebody that's lying to you.
If you with her for the right
You
reason.
shouldn't be.
If it was my
You shouldn't
shit,
be
I
rocking
wouldn't
with a woman
like
that's
that.
lying to you on purpose.
But I wouldn't have been with no Cassie knowing that she was all
You
out
didn't
like
know.
that.
He didn't know.
He didn't know. He was a personal trainer.
He didn't
He
know
knew what's going on.
He didn't know everything that happened to her. He didn't know everything that happened to her.
He knew it.
He didn't know that she was a
He
part
knew
of
it.
that.
He
I
knew
bet you that
And
she
it makes him
victimized
look
herself.
weak. It
I
makes
bet
him
you
look
that
weak
he.
to walk out. It makes him look weak to walk out.
I bet you.
How you gonna walk out on your chick?
Smiley.
She's pregnant and she's going through this right now.
Smiley. So
there's no excuse for the dude to walk out on her.
So let's go to Megan, right?
Wait,
so when Megan,
before you go to Megan, let me say, because y'all been, I just want to say this real quick. Or, other side of the coin, he did know because, let me finish. He did know because he was the personal trainer. And sometimes people do think, or they're a part of things, maybe he does love her, he married her or whatever, but he knows that's embarrassing to be with a woman that would do this. And maybe he was embarrassed because now the public found out. They were in court, they probably like, oh, people probably was making, like, people probably gasped when she was saying it or whatever. He probably everybody was probably looking at him when she said it to look at his reaction. But it could have been that he did know, because how you the personal trainer, you don't know Diddy doing this stuff. You would have heard something if you ain't see it for yourself, like if you're that close or whatever. So I feel like he did know, and he's just ashamed that everybody else found out, because he's probably ashamed of it himself, because nobody wants a woman to do that. But he probably put how he feel about her over what he think is the right thing to do, which should have not been with somebody that's doing that. But shoot, he could have been involved in the freak offs too. Who knows?
He probably was,
and he's embarrassed about that too.
But the thing I was saying,
he ashamed. People do stuff all the time, and they be ashamed, and that's how you know if it's something wrong, because you feel ashamed. So, but I feel like if you're doing something that you're ashamed of,
just to piggyback off what you're saying, if you're doing something and you're ashamed of, you're probably gonna lie about it. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I brought up Meg is there was shit that Meg said to Party, who she was dating at the time, that wasn't true. And then she made a whole diss track about Party, because Party left her after the trial and everything, and after certain events came, which, for all we know, Party might have found out the real truth from then. He was like, yo, not only are you sleeping with all these dudes, not only did you get this dude jammed up, you know what I mean, and he was innocent, but now you're sitting here making this is against me, like I'm the bad guy. So
Party said chasing the bag, he on Raising Canaan, man. I
mean, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing at the rate that he could be doing it without a woman that's gonna hold him back, and that's how you gotta move out here. You gotta get to the bag first, and then worry about all that other stuff later, like, cause
we gonna get back to
mess up the money, like.
But talking about that, a woman that's gonna hold you down. Real quick, what do you think about the DDG versus Hailey situation? How do you feel about that?
I feel like
Bailey said that he put his paws on her.
Mm-hmm. I feel like just based off of what she said, what she says about her, like her being an Aries, she loves to swing first. She's, you know what I mean, very feisty and aggressive. You see what I'm saying?
And people perceive her to be the opposite,
exactly,
because she's so soft-spoken,
because she's the Disney girl.
She's a Black American sweetheart and everything.
100%.
Because she do sound sweet and demure, but she said herself.
Yeah, she said herself.
So if you say it,
so let's examine that situation where the dude is like, I don't want to be with her. She broke up with him, or whoever broke up with who, right? And they're separated versus Gabby and the football player. I'm even calling him the football player.
Gabby who?
Gabby Douglas.
The gymnast, and she's with the
They broke up?
No, they're together strong. Together, But the way that she holds him down versus the situations that we're talking about, like the woman not really holding you down and not seeing the man as a prize. That comes with submission. We both should see each other as a prize.
That comes with submission, bro. The difference between those two specifically is submission. Gabby Douglas is willing to say he's the prize. You think Ariel is saying he's the prize? No.
But
She
how
might
do you
say
feel
she
She's
about
love
a
him.
brat.
How do
She
you feel
sounds
about
like a
him?
spoiled
Exactly.
woman.
And
How do you
that's what
feel
I'm
about
saying.
him getting
Entitlement
on?
is
How do you
real.
feel about him getting online previously
What?
and saying, you know, he know that he, you know, she wanted him, or you know, just having that. How do you feel about
I
that?
can't feel no way about the truth. If that's the truth, if that's really what happened, if she can't come out and say that's not what happened, then what am I supposed to say about it? You see what I'm saying? I can't say nothing about the truth if that's how it really was, and she doesn't
Because
have.
women are upset about it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
And I can't go
arguments
off.
like,
I
yo,
can't go off
why,
of their
why
feelings
she
about
acting
it.
like he all that?
I can't
he
go-
ain't all that.
that's why-
whatever.
You know
and,
who's
you know what I mean?
the only person
She a
feelings that
three-time
count
gold
is
medal
hers.
champion.
The only person that feelings that count is hers, because she
Definitely.
could have said, "Yo, no, this not how it happened." She is in agreement with it. She's like, "Yo, I'm happy. Whatever he say, whatever." And I just feel like they're in a situation where they're happy. And we were talking about this in the car. Like he's probably, I don't know this, but he's probably one of those dudes that like hanging out with his girl because she probably listens. You see what I'm saying? Just based off of certain things that she said in the public about him. Like,
You don't mind being around somebody that's not gonna annoy you.
I'm telling you,
You know, like
say
that's
it again.
that's really what it boils down
You know
to.
what
I
I
think that's
mean?
for anybody. I think men can be annoying some points.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But we find a way to get out of your way. Like,
It's
you know,
the balance.
Let me go play the game.
It's the
and now
balance.
I'm being annoying by not being annoying.
It's the balance, bro. It's like certain people have expectations and it's not balanced.
Mhm.
But I feel like in this situation, he knows his role and she knows her role, and they accommodate each other. You see what I'm saying? And that's what that looked like to me. That's what a proper example of. That's one example of that looking like that to me. Another example would be, I would say, like an older generation. Let's go to Denzel Washington.
Okay.
I feel like the reason why Denzel and his wife aren't really in the media, they probably do have fights, and you know what I'm saying? But I feel like the dynamic is she plays her role. She's not in the media. She's not in the shade room. She's not in the, you see what I'm saying? Housewives of Atlanta. She's not in that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just she plays her role, and then he plays his role as the actor. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You seen that in the chat?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh yeah.
Trolling.
Yeah. Dude's talking about glizzies and
Yeah,
that's
like
what I'm
what?
Don't address the Glizzy Goblin.
Well, you gotta think. There's a lot of Megan fans. There's a lot of Megan Thee Stallion fans that's like, yo, even though they're saying some real stuff, we're still gonna attack them.
And they always have
with
no
uncomfort.
picture.
Yeah, we're to attack them with uncomfortable things to say about, you know, sexuality. And it's like the reality is Nicki Minaj had people pull up to old girl's mother's grave and was twerking on her grave, yo. That's crazy. That's crazy. Think about that. Like,
Wait, what happened?
Nicki Minaj, I'm not gonna say she had them do it.
So allegedly, right?
She reposted. I think she either liked it or reposted it, where they went to this woman's grave, Meg Thee Stallion mother's grave, and was twerking on her grave to her diss song to Meg Thee Stallion. And the only reason why I brought that up is y'all have bigger things to worry about than me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. And then with the whole Tory situation, like, I remember the reason why I'm so adamant about this situation is I remember there was a specific girl, I won't say her name, but she was on my Instagram, and I could tell she was a Meg Thee Stallion fan. And I told her exactly what happened or how it was gonna happen. And she just was like, no, blah, that he going to jail. I don't care how you feel about it. Watch and blah, blah, blah. And then when he went to jail, it was, I told you, yada, yada, yada. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, cool. I ate it. I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Even still, I felt like this something ain't right about this trial, but we'll wait and see. And then for it to come full circle like it did, this person's not even hasn't been posting anything. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's been real quiet since this information came up. And it's just like, yo, it's so crazy how when it's speculative, we're riding with our person regardless. But now when it's proven, crickets. And it's just like, yo, this is your character. Like, now I know you as the person that believed BS. Why would I? This is what I was saying in the car too. I was like, yo, now that creates a new like dynamic of the women that still supported you even though you was wrong. You see what I'm saying? Versus the women that's like, nah, if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, there's women out there that will lie, and we're saying allegedly, will lie on you, and then stick with the lie just because you want to be looked a certain way. Like, that's crazy to me.
But then, like, if you're on a certain level, then there's other people in your ear. You might be like, yo, I can't do this. I gotta do this, and they telling you no.
I think the excuse,
you have to do this.
I think the excuse, like, the ends doesn't justify the means. Like, yeah, you got people in your ear, but that's when it goes back to morality. What's more important to you? Your morality or your popularity?
Well, their popularity,
and that's the problem.
Because that's what it all boils down to. Because the people that work for you, you gotta feed them. You gotta make sure that they good and everything. And if you make the decision that doesn't help with that situation, lying doesn't help with the decision, bro. Like, sometimes they tell them to lie. That's what I'm saying.
But that's not helping.
If you put yourself, see, the problem is people don't take accountability. Then when everything falls apart, now they got a chance to, all right, whatever.
And that's exactly what I'm saying.
If you didn't put yourself in that situation to begin with, you wouldn't be in the situation. So people put them in a situation where now they got to decide what they got to do. And then they talk to the expert or the person that works for them and tell them what's going on. And they guide them to be like, listen, I know what you feel. I know how your morals are and what you want to do.
That's what I'm saying.
But listen,
a publicist isn't a
moralist. You're going to ruin your life. You're going to ruin your legacy. You're going to ruin everything that we work hard to get. Go ahead.
A publicist isn't somebody with the most morality. He just makes the most sense in terms of
painting a picture.
Your popularity.
Right.
Right? So that's what they're worrying about. Keep your popularity up. Right?
Keep your image up.
So the problem with a publicist is if you're not operating out of morality, you're not going to care about what's right, what's wrong. You're not going to be like, okay, this is going to come bite you in the ASS later. You see what I'm saying? You're going to care about, okay, how do we keep this going and make sure that it's never proven that you're a lying piece of shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's their job, and that's not honorable. Right. Like, yeah, they're going to tell them to lie. They're going to tell them to do whatever is necessary. I get all that. I'm just saying the reason why this has turned out as it did is because she wasn't being honest from the get-go. And that's the problem. If you're not going to be honest from the get-go, you're going to stand on a lie that heavily, regardless of who was telling you, regardless of, you see what I'm saying? You could have said first off, yo, this man didn't shoot me, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend. But you did. And now this man got stabbed up. He's potentially could pass, and people are making a GoFundMe, and you can't at least say, yo, I don't support the GoFundMe. Like, we're not going to do that. Like, you see what I'm saying? If the truth is out, the truth is out. But we're, like, nothing, bro. Like, that's legitimate evil to me. And if you're going to be that evil, little boys need to be warned about the mentality of a woman that could go through all of that and stand on the lie. You see what I'm saying? That has to be something that these young men are prepared for, because coming up, we didn't know that. We didn't know women was that capable of doing some stuff like that.
I mean, and that's just naive. People are capable.
Yeah,
of doing
because
that.
We're young.
No, but I'm just saying, there's a way that I feel about people in general, and it's not gender specific. I feel like people are opportunists. A lot of times, people are going to take advantage of a situation because what what the outcome of that situation is going to entail for them in their life is some type of value increase or something like that, and it's going to be beneficial to them in some capacity. So a lot of times people are going to take the high road or whatever they consider to be the high road, nobody knows about it, so that they can get to that point. Oh, well, I'm going to do this because this is going to help me, or I'll do this. Most people in the world don't do anything for nothing. You know what I mean? There's some exchange, equal or more or lesser value, but there's some type of exchange.
She could have got the exchange, more of the exchange with him being free though, because they were making music. They made good music together.
But then that's where the emotional damage had already been done.
Exactly.
So a situation had occurred, and then there's something that was happening. Something happened that there was no backing away from at that point.
Yeah.
So now after you got to the point of no return, you could save face and just say, you know what, it was all a ruse we made up. I really didn't know that this would go this far or whatever, and take your L, take your smack on the wrist or whatever you're gonna get, and then risk your career suicide. Feel me? Or you could plausible deniability. You know what I mean? You could be like, yo, I don't know who shot me, to be honest, and I was inebriated at the time, so I was under the influence. I had impaired judgment, and emotionally, with the whole situation going the way that it did, I just made an emotional choice, and I apologize for that, and hope that you get sympathy in the court.
And you know what they said, right? They said that the reason why Tory didn't come up with the information of who shot her because his mother got locked up, and he didn't want to be responsible of putting a black woman in jail. And I was like,
did she have kids?
Did I hear? Yeah, she got a kid.
Oh, okay. All right.
She got a kid.
Is it his kid?
Nah, it's not his kid, but
then,
she's still a mother, though.
Then F those kids.
Yo!
Not going to jail for this chick that shot somebody else in the foot for 10 years. Yeah. 3 years later, I get stabbed 14 times and they make a GoFundMe for a dude. No!
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I feel you.
She's going to jail. She's going to jail. How about that?
I agree. I'm just
definitely
saying.
Going to jail.
I'm just saying this is what he said.
Them kids gonna be in the system.
He was like he didn't want old girl to go to jail.
Well, he's a great guy.
He really is.
That got stabbed 14 times.
He
that
really did.
He
really did.
For the person that assaulted him.
That's a martyr right there. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's not.
Well, he could have been.
He could have been.
He could have.
But not. But he does. He does stand for something.
Exactly.
A stupid nigga.
I don't think
that's a martyr for stupidity.
I don't think.
Why? So. Why did you do it? Why did you take the fall for somebody? Clearly, it was their choice to do what they did, and you tried to stop them from doing it, and now you're gonna face the consequences
because you didn't want to continue a cycle that
take care of her kids.
Because you,
if you really feel
because you didn't want to.
Because they don't need to be with a mother like that. I think you'd be doing them a disservice otherwise.
I mean, all she did was have sex with Tory. But well, she did shoot. What's her name?
Right.
She did shoot at her. But I think
she got him arrested. You know what I mean?
I think
and taking the fall for something that she did. No, that's not right.
I think they were all drunk, and I think that he felt guilty because he smashed both of them.
Some guys would say that, a very small percent.
Yeah.
But I think there are some guys that would be like, they might feel bad about that they caused the whole situation.
Exactly, because they smashed both. You know what I'm saying?
And it's a chick, you don't want to go to jail. And it may have been an accident. She probably didn't mean to shoot her. Maybe the gun just went off, or
maybe she shot at her and then she really did step in class, like what's her name said.
We could have said whatever. That didn't result in me spending a decade in prison for something I didn't do.
He was there for 10 years? No way.
He gotta be there for 10 years. That's his sentence.
But he's getting out though. He's gonna get out.
We hope.
I
mean, after this information, because that's all it is. It's hearsay.
But that came out in the media. We don't know if that's being reported.
Now listen. Here's something that did come up in court.
I think he came out.
There was only GSR on other people, and at the scene, there was no GSR on Tory.
Yeah. That was withheld though. And this is what I'm saying. Once you have influence, who the hell is and why is there withholding information? That's what I'm saying.
That should he should be
Yeah.
How you get arrested if that's the case? Then how
Exactly.
could you do that without having
I think the
residue
evidence was like
Exactly.
the evidence was like
Exactly.
dismissible or whatever they said. Something.
No, they didn't
Inadmissible.
use it. They just didn't
But
use
why?
it.
Did they get it illegally?
What do you mean?
I mean, well,
illegally?
no. The only way you would
The
get
only
it
two
was
people
certain
that had it
forensics.
was Megan and Kelsey.
Yeah.
And then
But
Kelsey
why
did
would
it.
they say that that's inadmissible? That don't make sense.
Because
The only time when
somebody's
they
paying for that.
When they would usually say that is if you got the information illegally, but for that you would have to run forensics to come to find that out. So that's normal protocol.
Exactly.
So I don't.
So
That's crazy. How is that even allowed?
And I'm hearing it wasn't even his gun.
It was the bodyguard's gun.
See?
Cause he ain't walking around with the blade.
So she took it. She took it. She
He a
was
dog,
drunk,
man.
and she was trying to.
He got stabbed 14. He coming out with an ill album.
Yeah, he already is. He's making music in jail, bro.
He gonna be like what's his name?
Vibes.
Yeah. How you know, yo?
Yeah, when he
You
first
my
got
vibe,
arrested.
yo.
Coil boss.
He put out the album. Remember that was
Yeah.
Tory
Tory
Lanez.
Lanez, yeah. He got a prison album, the prison
Man,
tape.
Man,
Something
free
like
Tory,
that.
man.
Free Tory, yo.
Shoot.
Free Tory.
That's messed
Free that
up,
innocent
man. When you go to prison for something
If
you
he's
ain't
really
doing.
Remind me of Emmett Till, bro.
But I mean,
and
but
this is
yeah,
a
he
black
has
girl.
to be, I
This
guess,
is
if
crazy.
There's no gun.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing, and I was like, how he going to prison and he don't got no GSR on him? So I'm like, that to me, I mean, that right there is kind of
Set up,
crazy.
bro.
GSR, gunshot residue.
Yeah, and that's gonna be
It was
on.
set up. That's
you
why he
might,
thought he
it might
wasn't.
get on you if you in the.
Yeah,
you don't
the
even have to hold
crossfire,
it
yeah.
either. But
But
if you have to, if you're the one that pulled the trigger,
Right.
And that's crazy.
and it's not something that you can see with the naked eye, so you can't just be like, when you.
They were saying it's because he was doing good in that not crypto, what was it called? The NFT. He sold his album, NFT went $1 million in a day, and if we follow that same format as far as us musically, then that's, you know, we would end up in that same, you know what I mean? Especially if we build up a little bit of a following.
Didn't they cancel NFTs or something? Where they said
No.
Still
NFTs aren't canceled, but like
they're not as popular.
it's
anymore.
not as popular.
Yeah.
So like if you do get an NFT, there's a possibility you could get some money, but for me, I'm not investing in no NFTs no time soon personally. But I do have an NFT in the description, so y'all could just click on that and y'all can invest in my NFT.
100%.
But it's just it's just a Pokemon card with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. That's all.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty cool.
That's hilarious. We'll go come see you for that.
Yo, I ain't worried about that.
And for those
Yeah,
who
we're
don't,
about Willie from Philly.
and for those who don't know, NFT is a non-fungible token, and it's a digital currency that like you can make basically a gift or a picture and put it in something.
You know who owe you some money? There's an insurance. It's a purple alpaca.
What?
There's an insurance company. I've seen it recently. I meant to say something
It's
to
purple?
you. It's a purple alpaca.
I know
Is
one
that the
with
name
it, but
of their
it was
insurance?
yellow.
Nah, I seen it purple. I think it is. I think
It's
like
called
the
Purple Alpaca Insurance or
I
something?
think so, or something like that.
What?
You gotta check that out.
Why
because
did-
I don't got
he
purple,
got the purple
I don't
alpaca.
got it copywritten.
Oh,
I do got
I
an
see.
NFT
Oh,
though.
you said
okay,
that's
okay,
his.
okay.
I got an NFT.
Speaking of
purple
that,
alpaca
I think
NFT.
we
It's
need
a purple
to
alpaca with a
get our
scarf on his
name
neck.
too, because if we're gonna start making merch,
Oh, yeah.
and so nobody can't be
Check our
saying
shit.
stuff. People, we have some merch coming out.
Merchandise.
So beware. I already started working on it. Prices will vary, but that information will be given at a later date. But yeah, just stay tuned.
I'll buy some to give away to people too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know.
the first 5 people to like, share, and subscribe will get a free hat or
Okay. That's fair. And they're one of a kind, people. They're non-fungible.
Get lifted.
So what y'all think about what's the Styles and Jim? Because they
I don't.
that's hilarious. So basically, Jim was in an interview, and he was talking about how, you know, if he would love to redo a verses, but just his catalog, and not a lot of people could see him. He's like, he loved New York City, but not a lot of people could see him based off of his catalog. And then they asked him about Styles P, and he was like, Styles doesn't have enough records, like solo records, to compete with him. And then Styles is like, Styles hears this, and he's like, yo, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're bugging. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because he feels like he's a bar master. And what that insinuates is, yeah, I agree as well. What that insinuates is he doesn't just make music, he makes music that people like could really feel. It's like that soul music. You see what I'm saying? And he also said that he's been on record with more accomplished artists than he has. So Big, what's his name? The Locks.
OT.
Yeah, exactly. Chris OD, you heard? Yeah.
He got songs with the Locks. They got a song with this guy.
Yeah, that's true. They work with each other, but he just feels like he's just more accredited and beloved by his peers. So my question to y'all is catalog. Let's just go by 20 of Jim's best songs versus 20 of Styles' best songs. Who do you think would win and by how much?
You starting with me?
Yep.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna be grimy, but I'm not a big Jim Jones fan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like probably like 3 songs that I like by Jim Jones.
Oh, so he ain't gonna win. Okay.
So in my opinion, he washed.
You go get Lance
with Styles.
Okay. What about you, E?
I think lyrically Styles P is better,
Mm-hmm.
but I like Jim Jones music better. I've listened to more of his music, but the songs that I have heard by Styles P, I like.
So,
I think he made an album recently, like a couple years ago, with Havoc from
Mobb Deep.
I like that.
So,
I do like him, but I don't really.
So in a verses,
I haven't
like a setup, like a verses
albums
with 20
I only
songs.
heard things that came on the radio, or when I heard that him and Havoc was doing an album together, I'm like, oh, I gotta check this out because I liked Mobb Deep, and I'm like, they might be on to something, and I'm like, yeah, I like that. But besides that, I never listened to a Styles P album or a mixtape.
So you enjoy
maybe
Jim
I'll
more.
check them out, but I just haven't listened to it. I only heard songs of him like on the radio or with the Locks or whatever. And to me, I thought Jadakiss verse would be better every time. There's like one song that I heard by Sheik. It was on the Exit Wounds movie soundtrack, and he was like, I don't know. But you never even felt the heat. Once I put the M1 next to your waves and melt the grease, I was like, yo, what?
That was crazy.
But I'm like, even him, I haven't really listened to Sheep either, only on the Lock song. So maybe I'll listen to them more. But I will say, I do think Styles P lyrically he raps better.
So you think Jim got a chance in the verses? So you think Jim has a chance in the verses then?
He has a lot of songs, because you said
Exactly.
catalog.
Like 20, just
but
20
I
songs.
can't just go off of, I could name 20 Jim Jones, so I can't name 20 Styles.
That's why I said
But not because I don't like him,
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't really, like I said, I never listened to a whole album. I like, roll stuff down so I can blow my mind. I get high, and I didn't even get high then, but I like that song.
What about It's All About the Benjamins?
Yeah.
That's a song.
Yeah, that's why I said I like songs with the Locks, but I didn't.
But I'm saying
I
you
never
can't
talk about solos though.
But you can't say him without saying the Locks too.
Yeah, they could do that.
So I mean,
They
that's
could
what
put
I'm saying,
Dipset,
because they're gonna have
but I could name
Dipset and
Jim
Jim Jones, but they just beat them.
But I could name 20 Jim Jones songs.
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't disagree, but I'm just saying the music that I've listened to from Styles P is different.
Yeah.
And not only that,
saying,
Styles P is an acclaimed ghostwriter. That's why he calls his name Styles P the Ghost. Because he's writing for people. You know what I mean? His pen is lethal. That's what he be saying. So it's like, and Jada will always corroborate. He call him Big Bro. Like it's not you see the shadow of Jadakiss and you think that, oh, well, why is it? But it's just they prefer Jadakiss to be the face of the group. They prefer him to be out there.
He's more charismatic.
He's more charismatic and way more marketable.
Yeah.
You know, he loves the exposure, but they don't really care for the exposure as much. They tried to be out, but they failed. They everything comes together for them, and they like that. They don't mind being out there in the front. But Styles P on the low, like for the streets, like he really got some good stuff.
That's a fact.
All his mixtapes that I've ever heard have all been fire.
Even his albums.
His albums, yeah. But group projects, like the Locks always have really good group projects. But it was that type of New York hip hop sound.
Yeah.
Dipset is a different type of New York sound. It's not the same. Not saying it's more of a flashier side of New York.
Yeah,
that's Harlem, right?
He's more lyrical.
Yeah.
Styles P.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I like him too. I like both of them. I just never listened to them. I never even listened to the whole Locks album. I only heard the songs that came out, and maybe I might have heard a song from a mixtape if somebody had it, but I never listened to like a whole Jadakiss. And I like Jadakiss too. I like him a lot, but I just never bought none of his albums. Like, at the time, even though I liked the lyrics, I used to listen to more like party turn up or like bubblegum type of.
Yeah. I mean,
but when I would hear it, I would be impressed. I'd be like,
it was colorful. It was, you know what I mean? Their videos, all of their videos was like very expressive, very like outspoken. The Locks videos was more gray, you know, more like darker, kind of like Wu-Tang a little bit. Wu-Tang was kind of like that. It was that type of group. But you gotta like that type of sound. And but it wasn't really underground, but they had like, and they weren't pushing feel. Them. Like, nah, they wasn't getting pushed.
And that's the thing.
But that was Bad Boy.
I was really
then,
exposed.
Even with Rough Riders, they wasn't getting pushed like that.
But I heard the songs that would come on the radio and stuff, and I like them. Like stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a Rough Riders roll right now.
They camp is probably one of the strongest camps in the rap industry.
Yeah.
Like with NWA.
Rest in peace, DMX.
Facts.
NWA, yeah, I didn't really listen. I don't think I've heard. I've heard a couple, but I didn't really listen to them. I just didn't hear their music. It wasn't in my time, and then I feel like they didn't play it like that. It was probably a time where it was more prevalent, but then it phased out.
And what about
even Ice-T? I never heard his music before.
Ice-T? Only song that I really remember from Ice-T was Colors, because of the movie Colors.
I heard that.
And I like that song. Duke Dennis this week, Shots in here, really live.
She said she was on a girl trip. Look in the glasses. It's both of them.
Oh.
and you got the kid. What?
Who that dude?
Brent Fayez. Fayez.
Singer.
He's a singer, yeah.
Oh, so that's her new dude?
Yeah. She lying, talking about she on girl trips.
That's crazy. That girl tripping.
Looking like I'm the man. That's what it's saying. Tell me where have you been? Something, girl. I don't know.
That's Brent Fayez?
Yeah.
What about Joe Buddens and Fat Joe? I don't even know about that. What's going on with them?
So basically, there's a clip out. Let me see if I can find it. But basically, long story short, I think
it was on YouTube. Speed at the.
Yeah. I think Fat Joe was just stunting on Joe Buttons because he was saying that like on some street shit, you're supposed to be sitting in front of the competition,
right?
And that's how he got the drop on you because he was in front of you. So.
Well, I would think you would be looking your back. You could see in front of you.
Exactly.
Because that's how I be. I don't like. Well, I'm not even.
Who
I'm a
snuck
woman,
up on
but
Joe Buttons?
50.
But they ain't bang out.
Yeah, he just took a picture and posted it.
Yeah, he was basically saying that he got the drop on him, or like he basically.
Remember when they had
That's
a beef?
what
Remember
Melissa...
they was supposed to have fought, right? Fat Joe and 50. Didn't they have a fist fight?
Yeah, he made up with her. I don't know. I never.
No, they never fought, but they were beefing. Yeah.
I thought they was fighting in the hotel.
Because he made this about everybody before when he first came out.
50 was about to.
But.
Papoose was about to fight Max B in the radio station, and 50 broke it up. Papoose be ready to fight. Like, there's a reason why he with Clarissa, yo. I be seeing them on them pads, man. He like to fight.
Be toxic and be fighting each other.
Nah, I don't think so.
You think they be boxing with each other?
Yeah, for sure. She
be like, put your gloves on.
For sure, they spar. Yeah,
put your gloves on, punk.
Cause she be fighting men.
Is she a nigga?
Come on, man. Don't
Not literally, but the way she acts.
Nah, she's being submissive.
She's very demure.
She's being right. She's being feminine. She's in her feminine with her man.
She be getting online.
What you be saying? Her man.
Yeah, she challenged a baddie, Krishan Rock's sister from the Baddies reality show.
Yeah, that's for the
She got all that mouth.
She never said anything to her. She just be watching the show, and the fans were probably saying something like, we need to, or whatever. And then she called her out. And then,
that's that GOAT mentality.
And then
it's her against the world.
And then Tasiki, that's Krishan's sister, was like, she was like, unless you pay me, I think she said like $1 million or something, like, I'm not about to do that. And if I do that, if you are willing to do that, I gotta spar first and train or whatever. And she said her and another girl because she be watching them on the show. And they done knocked chicks out, and they're not boxers, but I don't know. Tasiki knocked somebody tooth out.
She did?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know. I just don't like, that's a Krishan's sister.
Tasiki.
I just don't like the fact that she allegedly molested her when she was younger.
Did 50 buy the seats?
But
I think
on purpose?
I think so.
They were all. Oh yeah, he was sitting in the seat or behind him.
Yo, shout out to the Knicks, yo.
No, well yeah, that is crazy if she did do that, and they said that the whole, like, there was an adult that was molesting all of them, and then the kids started doing it to, like, pass them.
The heck?
Yeah, because Krishan was like, you made me eat you when I was, she said an age. I don't remember what age she said. When I was 9 or something. I don't know. And she was like, what? Or whatever, because they was arguing, and she said that. And then, but she said that.
That's why she want to fight her?
Well, they're not. This already happened. This is over with. This year they were on Baddies. Was it this year or maybe last year? And they had a conversation about it, and she wanted her to take it back. She was like, "I'm not taking it back. Like, it happened. Like, what are you talking about?"
Meatball was on Baddies.
Yeah.
She a baddie?
No.
She's a bad behavior.
She be having her stomach out like that. I be looking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Why she be having her stomach out like that? That's her thing. That's her trademark.
Yeah,
that's her trademark.
Why do we gotta look?
I don't want to see it. I don't want to
need
see
to
it.
look.
I understand. I understand it now. Oh man.
Yeah, I do that. I need to see that.
But shout out to the Knicks for real, man. Especially since the Brooklyn Bridge got smashed in by a Mexican Navy ship.
That's kind of suspect.
Happened on the 17th.
Wow. Ain't Cinco de Mayo coming up too?
Yo, what you trying to do?
I'm just saying.
You trying to connect it?
Cinco de Mayo is
saying.
gone.
May 5th, yeah.
Yeah. This happened in May?
This happened a couple days ago. Like, it happened on the 17th.
Yeah, in May, though.
I mean, okay. That's...
What is that? I don't know.
Well, I
Cinco de
mean,
Mayo?
it's not their month.
No, it just
but they
means
had that
the 5th
day.
of May. That's what it means. But what does
What does it represent?
with what you, because the train,
The Mexicans trying to liberate themselves in America.
No, Cinco de Mayo is.
So they staged.
Yo, don't put your borders up, Trump.
Yeah, I think maybe. He's like, yeah, we're gonna damage.
My belief about the border situation is that they should. I think there are really extreme situations in these other countries that we think we have a bad appearance, and then some people do. Some people are homeless. We do have people that are in terrible situations up here. But when you compare it to these third world countries and things like that,
you can't say third world now.
What?
Yeah, that word is inappropriate. It's called underdeveloped countries.
Wow, that seemed worse to me. Underdeveloped.
Well, third world is worse. Third world.
It's like it's not from you from a different world.
That's crazy.
Like that's what it is. And every
but
country.
Even that term,
has,
third world.
Well,
like what?
But that's because their civilization is kind of primitive. Like they don't have the amenities that we have. They don't have TVs. Yeah. Well, they have electricity, but their electricity is a different type. It's limited.
They use solar powers.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they said.
It's energy saving, but I mean,
you're probably gonna need some type of electricity.
You need a generator or something to keep power.
It's because every time it gets dark, you're not gonna see. Oh,
you better have a waterfall.
But I think when it comes to
this dude crazy.
I think when it comes to the border, that they should, because of those conditions, they should allow people to. It shouldn't be, because it's very hard. So I get why the people that are up here illegally, that are doing the right thing, are not doing the right thing by coming here illegally, but they got a job. They're trying to take care of their family. They're sending money home so they can do stuff. They're trying to survive, just like we are. So I don't think the reason why they do that is because people think it's easy or whatever, but they gotta jump through hoops or whatever. It takes years for them, and it costs a lot of money to send people back and forth to get their citizenship and stuff like that. And then they come here making less than the bare minimum or whatever. It takes them, and they don't even come up here together. It'd be one person. And then when they get on their feet or whatever, then at some point they send for the other people or whatever. But, like, I've heard people talk about this. Like, it's not what people think, like, oh, you can just, like, yeah, they have grants and stuff, but you gotta still become, or you could get a working visa, I guess. So if you get a job here, then you can come here if you're working, if you have employment within the country or something like that. But you gotta have some type of paperwork. And then you might need qualifications that they don't have. What if they don't have their birth certificate? What if they don't have their social? How you gonna get that stuff from the other country or whatever if you left with nothing but the clothes that you had on your back, and you was running for your life? You would have been unalived if you stayed there or something. Like, you gotta have a heart for those people. If you like, so I don't think it should just be like. It should just be very tough security, security measures. Like, you gotta check everything, make sure everything, and if you
you gotta get a new license.
Yeah, gotta have the sparkle.
It's called a real ID.
Yeah.
You have to have a real ID now in order to get into any federal buildings or into airports or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that started this month.
Yeah, it was the 7th, I think. Had to be done by the 7th. Or the 17th. I don't know, something like that. I had just made it because I was at the airport. So I had just made it. And it was like, yeah. No, it was the 7th. She was like, yeah, by the 7th, you got to make sure that you have it. I'm like, oh, snappers. Sick.
Yeah, you just got to go and just go get it replaced at the DMV.
But if you're not a citizen, ISS gonna be waiting for you.
Yeah.
Right there. As soon as you come up in there,
That's
probably.
how they get you, bro. I feel like they did the same thing with student loans. They was like, okay, let's see who owes and how much they owe, and then we gonna act like we gonna get them free what's the name? And as soon as Trump came in, oh well, he took there's nothing we could do. Like nah, y'all work together on that one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
They said,
I ain't cut out the people.
speaking of solar, lighting and then going off in the nighttime. In China, they released an AI sun. So
AI
like
what?
AI
a sun,
I knew it, yo.
like you can so they can like
This is
turn it
old
up
too.
and light up. This recently they just recently released this.
I think
There's
this,
a
I
video.
heard
It was
about
on
this before.
TikTok.
Yeah.
What are they using to make that?
I don't know, some type of machine with I don't know what it's powered by, but they light up the whole sky. So it's like with that you can leave. Then there will be no darkness. Like they could leave it on if they're gonna do that. But that begs the question for me. I want to see them both at the same time, but then it's like I don't even believe what's real. I don't even know it anymore.
Right.
Have you always put the sun up like this, and you just doing this, making us think that you
exactly? He cooking, yo. This is shit that I'd be thinking about.
Because the fact that you could do that is crazy.
Yeah.
That means you could change the sky to anything.
Yep.
That's in China, but and they're they're
Ahead of our
in technology.
Yeah.
But if they doing that, we probably going to get
reverse
there.
engineering. If we're reverse engineering UFOs, then of course we could reverse engineer some, human shit. And this is what I'm saying.
They've been doing that the whole time. The
Exactly.
sky is not.
But this is what I'm
sky,
saying.
It's a projection.
I remember when there was supposed to be
It's crazy.
a solar eclipse, and they said it was something off about the solar eclipse. Like it seemed like something else was in front of the sun. What if it was that fake sun? What if we was looking at the fake sun, yo? Like this is nuts, yo.
That's crazy. A fake sun.
Yeah, a fake sun, bro. And this is what I'm saying. Like, look at all the flat earthers that was already saying the sun is closer.
Cabin in the woods.
Now that's making a little
Right.
now that's making a little bit more sense. If they're making a fake sun, bro, then they could put it as close or as far away as they want to. And like he said, what if they been had that technology? What if they been, you see what I'm saying? They are already saying the moon is fake. They said the moon is the base. That's why we only see one side. Like, yo, like,
Yo,
no.
man, I don't know. I looked at the moon through a telescope, and I looked at Saturn through a telescope. But now I don't know.
Just because you looked at
You
it,
can see
it's
it.
there, complete. It's there.
there.
And what if it's like a big computer screen, and that's what we looking at, and they just because how you make a sun that light up the whole sky? Like
Or think about it like this: how can you see the moon, but you can't look down, let's say, 4 miles down the road with that same telescope? How can you see the moon? You can see the moon, but you can't look 4 miles down the road with that same telescope. How does that make sense?
You can't. You could adjust the
Should be.
But
I know that the moon is probably farther.
Farther than 4
miles.
This is what I'm saying.
But you have to adjust.
But it's also
you could adjust it, but you're not going to see
a lot
it.
bigger than what you're looking at.
Yeah, true. But this is, you know what I mean? You should see something.
When an object moves farther away from you, it gets smaller. So we don't see the moon like this, but the moon is like this. So because we're looking at it through a telescope and it's so far away, it looks small. But if you're trying to look at something that's like
because you just reach
4
that out
miles
to
away,
like touch it, but
you might.
I think the moon
should be able to see it.
I think the moon's closer than they say, yo. I think the moon and the sun is closer.
I think your telescope fucked up. Because if you can't see something 4 miles away, but you could see the moon.
I was just saying 4. But what I'm saying is there's a limit.
You should be able to see it.
Listen.
Nothing
what I'm saying
in the way
is,
of it.
yeah, right. But what I'm saying is,
straight up at the sky.
what I'm saying is, if there is limitations to how far a telescope could see, but the telescope could see the moon clearly, then you've been lied to, bro. Like it's not, because it's not as far as they're saying it. If they're saying it's this far and your telescope can't see this far this way, but it can see this far this way.
The moon is mad far, bro. It's way more than 4 miles.
I understand that.
But it's big as hell.
But you agree,
but
you agree that telescopes have a point that they can't see beyond, right? What do you think that point is? How far straight do you feel like that telescope?
Telescope could see things that are years away, bro. So it's like
in a modern telescope, you can see things that's years away.
That's how far a planet is from us. It's not measured in distance. It's measured in time.
Smiley, I'm talking about the telescopes like a regular telescope. We're not talking about the Hubble telescope.
We're
not talking
about.
So
you can't see down the street. You're saying
what I'm saying is, what is the limitations of a telescope? How far can you see?
It depends. It says it on the telescope.
Far. Yeah,
it'll tell you how far it magnifies.
And that's what I'm saying. So if it
gotta
says
change the settings so you can see how far you want it to go. You have
like
to adjust it to be able to
But
see.
y'all not saying what is the limitations.
It depends.
Okay, so what is the farthest? What is the farthest?
I don't have
if you can see the moon, then that could be
that's what I'm saying, bro.
That could be a reference.
That's what I'm saying.
If you got something that you can actually see stuff that's on the moon and not just see the moon bigger, then yeah, that you would have to measure that distance.
I'm just saying that I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that there is a reason why if you have a regular telescope and you look there's like a limitation to that distance versus looking at the moon and seeing it clearly, seeing every crevice. And you see what I'm saying? Like it has to be closer than we think it does.
Is it a limitation because of obstruction?
I don't know why the limitation. I'm just saying if there is a limit on that box.
What are you looking at? Because people could use their telescope
if there's a limit,
people's windows and whatever.
Right, and I'm saying if there's a limit on that box, if you can't see.
The only reason why is because if you're looking through a window and then it's the other end of the house, you can't see through closed objects.
Right.
The sky is open. There's
but I'm not
nothing
talking about.
blocking
I'm not
it,
talking
so
about. I'm not talking about that. Let's say you're out in the ocean, right, and you're looking down the ocean. You're trying to tell me you can see the moon clearly, but you can't see whatever the limitation of that telescope is, and there's nothing blocking it. That don't make no sense.
It makes sense because of the size of the moon.
Exactly. No, it makes sense because the moon is closer than.
It's not really not. It's not. The moon is not closer than anything on Earth because the moon is miles, like thousands of miles away from us, bro.
I don't believe
that far, but you don't believe it, but it is what it is. But anyway, it's farther than anything that you're gonna look at on Earth. So, because Earth only has a distance of how big the planet is. I agree
with what you're saying.
Okay.
But think about what you're saying. The moon is bigger than anything on Earth. Okay, I agree. And you're saying it's how far? It's thousands of miles away, right? Yeah. And we can't see thousands of miles on a same telescope that we could see the moon.
We could
probably, you're saying because the moon is
through a certain
you're saying because the moon is that big, and I said okay, cool, but the farther away it is, the smaller it looks, right? So there is a reason why we are able to see off of our telescopes the moon versus we can't see the limits of just looking straight out in the ocean and you know what I mean? Let's say there's an island out there. We're not going to be able to see it. Even though we're looking straight, you see what I'm saying? It's like nothing is obstructing it.
I think that's probably a good question for the flat earthers because if you can't see it straight with the telescope, then that might mean that the Earth's not flat. Because if there's a curvature, then that's probably why you can't see beyond that curve.
Because you can't see
unless it's layered.
It's not
because how is
unless it's layered?
Because how is a telescope? Right? It's like this. So that means it's going straight. You're looking at it straight.
Yeah, but it's layered. It's not just straight. So it's going up like
if the Earth was flat, then you should be able to see to the end of it if you had this telescope that you can see the moon. Or Saturn or Mars or whatever.
But you're gonna see curvature.
Not if it's flat, right?
Yeah,
If it's flat, you'll be able to
then
see all the way to the end.
But that has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
I'm
What
just saying that I said that would be a question for the flat earthers.
for sure. But what I'm saying is, if we can see the moon clear as day, and we can see crevices, we can see certain things going on the moon, then I really truly believe it's closer than they're telling us it is. Because, okay, we're trying to say that there is nothing obstructing the moon, so there's no space debris, there's no just rocks, there's no, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
you see what you see when you look up.
This is what I'm
Random
saying.
rocks in the sky?
Yeah, there should be asteroids, right?
Or just a
We
bunch
don't know.
of them are in
I don't
there?
know, cause we know that space is a vacuum, right? We know that, and what that means is it's something pulling it. You know what I'm saying? And then once we get to these certain planets have different gravitational pulls because some have atmospheres, and that makes everything stick to the planet. So we know that, right? But what I'm saying is, they try to pull, like, in every space movie that you see, that there's certain space debris, right? Whether it be blown up ships up there, whether it be, like, I'm assuming that it's just floating around because it's stuck in the gravitational pull of the what's the name, so it's just like spinning around the planet. Like, wouldn't we see
Like a tumbleweed.
That's what I'm saying. Why isn't there anybody that ever seen none of this space debris? Has it never been that big? Has it always came down? Like, you see what I'm saying? They make it seem like there is big rocks.
Maybe they're not looking at that.
But this is what I'm saying. If you're looking,
they're looking at night, so maybe they can't see it.
I mean,
no light.
I mean, regardless, there's no light in space. So if you can see the moon, if you can see
the stars, right?
If you could see, and that's another thing. If you could see the moon, like allegedly, that's supposed to be the sunlight's reflection on it.
Stars
it might be, the moon might be illuminated. Like it might have its own glow, and then we don't even think that. Like, we're thinking it's the sun. But this is what I'm saying. It's like, allegedly, that's not supposed to be true. It's supposed to be the light coming from the sun reflecting on the moon. And that's why we see the light from the moon. But I don't believe that. I think that the moon has its own source of light to it. But, I can't prove that. I'm just saying that resonates with me for some reason. But I don't know.
In all the movies that I see where people go on the moon, there's always some type of light there. So
exactly.
Where's it coming from? Is it coming from the sun?
It could be. You know what I'm saying? But think about it. There's a dark side of the moon. You see what I'm saying? So the sun, I guess it doesn't rotate, so the sun doesn't get to that side. What's on that side?
The Inhumans have a base on the moon. That's where their base is.
The Inhumans.
Yeah.
I do know one thing, that most humans are prone to be scared of the dark, and I believe that there's a reason for that. Whether it be the predators at night, whether it be just the energy, like when they say lunatic, that came from lunar. You see what I'm saying? So why does people...
Like, depending on the moon.
Exactly.
Phase.
Why do people bug out at night?
It's a full moon. The werewolf come out.
People crazy in the daytime too. So
I'm a werewolf, Chris.
People always crazy.
You're not. You're definitely not.
I am.
But I know you're controlled by your cycle, which is affected by the moon, for sure. For sure.
I'm a
That
werewolf,
might...
I'm telling you.
I don't think that's no werewolf activity. But if you're telling me that you're a werewolf, at least don't change it, eat me up. You know what I'm saying?
I can't control it when I change every full moon.
Yes, you can. I feel like being a werewolf, after a certain amount of time, you'll be able to control your powers more. Isn't that how it goes?
Well, you said you would believe me if I told you. I tried to warn you.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying. All right, is there a full moon out there right now? We're straight as long as it's not a full moon, right? You should know when it's full moon's coming. You should sense it.
Have you seen an ape turn into a human being?
I don't know, but
I don't want to.
When Nala be running around jumping on the furniture.
Yo.
Making weird sounds and that's pretty.
She be pretending she different animals. I really like. I heard her
Making
acting like she was a
bird
bird.
sounds.
Yep, I remember that. Like cats is smarter than we think they are.
Retrograde and Mercury is in it.
Is Mercury retrograde for real?
Hmm.
I feel like it's always.
It's
that.
always that.
Yeah.
I always be
That's
hearing
what
that all
people
the time.
say because when weird stuff happens. A lot of crazy stuff been going on. I feel like people are being unalived at a way larger rate than ever before. Like people are, whether it's sickness or pume, shots fired. You know, whether it's unaliving yourself, like crazy things have been happening.
Do you think it
No
has
one
anything
is
to do with
getting out of here based on natural, like you just aged out.
Do you think it has something to do with the Jabberoo?
I think so.
Maybe it's changing people's.
It's the food too. It's the chemical.
Yeah,
That's what they
everything.
said. It's giving kids diabetes and it's linked to ADHD because all the chemicals and stuff is giving high blood pressure, making people have a heart attack and stroke.
At early ages.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'd rather go to Dr. CB whenever I feel like it'll fix the source of the problem instead of the doctors, the modern medicine now, because they'll just, oh yeah, just eat healthy, and then they won't tell you what eating healthy is. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even. They changed the chart.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to drink milk.
Yeah.
Period. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we drink it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, I was getting almond.
Doja Cat is a
they
cop.
said
Even that
almonds
with cyanide.
not
In it. Yeah, you don't want that. Get fucking pneumonia and be like, yo, how I get pneumonia?
But that's only if you drink it in large amounts.
Yeah.
Yo,
Can't make it an everyday thing.
it's really crazy because the person that stabbed him was in prison for
Being
taking
a
somebody,
PDF
and this is
file.
his second charge while he's in prison.
Oh.
Oh, he unalived somebody too already?
Yeah.
I told you. And people trying to pay for his GoFundMe.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
That money just
Well,
gonna go to
I'm not
cigarette.
surprised
That's blood
when
money.
that guy,
That sounds like a ritual to me.
that Ted Bundy, the ladies loved him.
Yeah,
They would
'cause
be at his,
yeah.
so it's like crazy. Then he escaped twice.
Mhm.
One time he went to a college campus to a party and unalived multiple women at the party. He beat someone with a table leg. Like, it was crazy.
That's wild.
Because the cops dumb. They let him, well, you have the right to represent yourself. So they gave him access to the library because he was representing himself. They're allowed to look at the books and stuff and educate themselves. The window is open. So
If
he went
Cassie-
out the window.
if
That's how he got to the campus and did that.
If Cassie needs psych evaluation, then so do the women that know that these people are murderers and whatnot, and they still support them.
Yeah, I would say so.
You see what I'm saying?
Because why
Same
would
thing with
you
the Meg.
be...
Same thing with the Meg people that still are supporting GoFundMe's for the person that stabbed up Tory. Like, you need psych evaluation.
Yeah,
because
that's crazy.
this man didn't even do it. You see what I'm saying?
And it's like, do you think like that too? Would you do something like this? With
Exactly.
Supporting these people. Or
If you would
whatever,
support
you're
it, that's a
sending
yes.
them money.
Just like
the
you support
United
it.
Healthcare situation.
Even
they
if he
made a
did,
GoFundMe page for. Well, I don't think they made a GoFundMe page, but they said people were paying for his legal fees
For Luigi?
for his representation. Yeah.
I mean, that's a little different though, because his means.
He's still.
Yeah, his means is a little different. Like, I feel
He's
like
still unalive, innocent person.
but we're talking about morality. Like, that's not
there's
innocence.
nothing moral
That's
about it.
that's not innocence. If you're in charge of a company that you know is corrupt, then that's not innocent. You know it's corrupt. You just don't care because you're making money.
What's corrupt about it?
certain people getting bread and not doing their jobs to, you know what I mean, keep people alive. Like certain people taking certain money that they could have gotten and help somebody and using it on, you know, vacation or Botox um or body modifications. It's like that's corrupt. Corrupt is, like you said, not having morality. Like the same reason is corrupt that
I just got
Omega
breaking
Stallion.
news. I don't know if y'all want to hear is former President
Oh
Biden.
yeah, it's colon cancer, right?
Yeah, aggressive
Yeah.
form of prostate cancer that spread to his bones.
That's crazy.
Just came in from CBS.
I mean,
They did that to him.
I don't think so. I felt like he was on his way out for
They
sure.
They moved him along though.
I mean, maybe they did, because you know
For what, though?
he embarrassed the company.
He's against.
He embarrassed
the
country?
one world.
he
the
embarrassed
new
the
world
country.
order.
Yeah, because he was with the I don't think about that. But I think
It's like really like an episode of 24, yo.
I think he took it. I think he took an L.
Where's Jack Bauer?
I think he took an L with the Trump situation, and certain people, the certain powers to be, don't want Trump in there because he's really up there changing a lot, and you know, yeah.
How do you feel about his changes?
Somebody gonna underline.
I feel like how I've been felt like I feel like it's going to take a drastic change for anything to happen. And I feel like the drastic change that happened is Trump. You see what I'm saying?
Somebody gonna underline him.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know.
They already tried.
Yeah, they tried a few times.
Especially after all these people is up in arms.
But I feel like they always try to unalive these presidents, though.
Yeah.
They don't document every one of them, but they definitely try to, Obama got attempts on his life.
They're going to get another attempt. coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because it could be a cartel. Like if a cartel is making money and then, you know, you're kicking them out because of ICE, you might say, okay, let's use some of this money to get out the president.
Or
like
a fed up citizen that blames him for this.
It's not going to be nobody that doesn't have enough.
Oh, happy belated birthday, DJ Act.
What's the name?
Nah, I'll be getting a lot of information from him, so.
Cool.
Shout out to Act.
No.
Oh, damn. He said
Yeah,
yes, no love.
He got the inside scoop to this Diddy case. He got the whole transcript.
Y'all think he getting out?
Yeah.
You think Diddy's getting out?
I don't want to say yeah, but I think yeah.
You said it quick. What you think? You think he getting out?
I don't know.
I think he getting off.
If he don't, then great.
I think he getting off. But like I said to Smiley, I think it's gonna be on some New Jack City situation. I think somebody's gonna be like, "You devil, you," and then they gonna take him out. Real talk, and it's gonna be like legendary.
Like the old guy?
Yeah, like the old guy from what's the name? Yep. It's gonna be somebody that we don't expect.
You're killing your own people.
It's gonna
Unalive.
It's gonna be somebody that we don't expect. I mean, it's gonna, you know what I mean?
Rock a ball,
Now-
baby.
Now
Why
this
jukebox
leak
look like
footage
her?
just
Say she
7
on it.
hours ago.
What happened?
Chloe Bailey leaked video of DDG and Hailey fight.
Okay.
He's getting arrested. I don't know if this is
Likes none available. It's not real, bro. Yeah, you stay got the scoop, bro. You gotta make sure.
no
that
Star
scoop
no
exists,
Star
bro.
Hush be having information.
Oh no.
They just put this out.
You played it?
I'm watching it right now, but I ain't
I don't know, because I remember one of y'all was telling me that ASAP was breaking up with Rihanna. I was like, ASAP ain't going nowhere. I was like, I believe that shit.
People
You
still,
told me
girl
that
said
shit.
that
He was
she
cheating
slept
with
him.
yeah, exactly. That shit ain't true. Nobody, the rest of the world ain't hear about that.
They
shit.
said, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
Get out my car, B.
What is
And then
it?
things got violent. Allegedly, he slammed her head into the steering wheel, yanked her by the hair,
Oh,
and chipped her
bullshit.
tooth.
Asian dog.
She admitted that she chipped her
It gets
tooth.
messier. Some folks online are calling foul on that chipped tooth. There's a viral video from a barb account claiming that the broken tooth Holly showed actually belongs to her sister Chloe. You heard that right? People are out here wondering if this is a
See,
cover-up,
this
a
fake,
setup, or
bro.
something way deeper behind the scenes.
You don't hear
And get this, DDG supposedly didn't even know about the restraining order until TMZ reported it first. Even his own brother Dub was caught off guard.
I say anything. How the fuck do you walk into a courtroom, get a restraining order, and then TMZ find out before they my brother find out? That's not fucking normal. Y'all not listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, we know. It's a setup.
How do you go into a courtroom, request a thing, and then TMZ?
Now let this sink in for a second. TMZ broke the news before DDG even knew he had a restraining order filed against him. Like what? The media caught wind before the man even got a phone call, a letter, anything. But hey, that's how these court orders usually play out.
I just feel bad for the kid. You know why? Because I feel like these rituals that Kim Porter was talking about in her book are real, and I think
They
they're
be
trying to
doing
do
that
that.
when they pregnant.
I think they're trying to do that with DDG kid, yo.
He's out here asking why now.
Like, it's weird, bro. They be doing weird stuff. Like, these kids don't deserve that, man.
Describe the whole thing in that police report. You'll understand why she stayed silent until now.
You have upgraded yourself and bossed up. You one of the hottest sleepers out here.
And he get pneumonia. Yo, he just gets sick, girl. I'm letting y'all know from now. We called it.
You were seen pretty rare friendly.
And they don't think that's suspicious that they all died from pneumonia.
From pneumonia. You see what I'm saying?
After they was about to
So
write
let's
a
break
book.
this down. DDG and Hailey
Crazy.
officially broke things off back in October, but things didn't really hit the fan until January. That's when DDG pulled up to Hailey's place to handle some parenting stuff with their baby boy, Halo. She was just trying to buckle Halo into his car seat, but according to Hailey, that's when DDG's energy shifted real quick. She says he started getting worked up, started yelling and calling her names. Then out of nowhere, she claims he told her, "Get out of my car." And that's when it allegedly turned physical. She says her head hit the steering wheel, he yanked her hair, left bruises on her arms, and even chipped her tooth.
Oh,
But instead of jumping out of the car, she stayed put, terrified, not for herself, but for their baby boy. When they finally made it to DDG's house, she broke down and told his family what had just gone down. They offered to take care of
there would have been pictures. There would have been all type of
Now fast forward to today,
bruises and
DDG is
stuff.
under a court order that says he's got to stay at least 100 yards away from Holly. And on top of that, he's banned from talking about her or their son on any of his platforms.
Why can't he even talk about? See, this is what they did to Tory,
Hold on.
yo.
While DDG is facing serious allegations, he's also claiming that he's being set up. And he's not the only one who feels that way. Big names like Aden Ross, Deshae Frost, and even his loyal fan base think this whole situation might be a calculated move to tear him down right as his career was taking off again. And here's the wild part. Some people say they saw it coming. Blueface. Yeah, that Blueface. Even tried warning him. And when someone like Blueface, who's no stranger to messy situations, gives you advice about who you start a family with, maybe that's worth thinking about.
Usually kids about shit around, you know, keep
I remember that.
And then that might cause you to get so stressed out, like, you know, bitch, I'm cool, she like, no, this, that, you know. Do it really matter? Do it really matter? Females are petty, you know? I know it's all girls. Yeah, they all like that. It's not just one or two, it's all of them. You know, so then y'all get to y'all little situation, y'all little Twitter beef. Yeah, the kid is like, oh, shit, it's over. Alright, so, I'm like, I can't handle big mom, bro. Yeah. Yeah, big puppy. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
Ooh, you thought so. You thought so. Now you're gonna have to. That's your baby mama right there.
Because when the news
Trust me, I thought the same thing. Why you gonna have no baby mama?
You didn't have to think. You take the coach.
Yeah, what you mean? I took a chance on her. I was like, oh, she's solid. And then she wasn't solid. That shit was crazy.
No, I'm saying, but I don't know. Yo, stop these fake allegations. This is a father. This is a real person. It's a good human being. But hey, bro, we on screen, bro. Like, I got to don't do it, bro. Come here. Fuck all that. That's my real friend. We're not gonna do no false shit to ruin the street. He's a great human being. He does a lot for a lot of people. He's a man. He's a father. And we're gonna respect him. We're gonna love him. WDDG and fuck anyone got anything to say. Fuck the fake narratives, my nigga. Stop.
Now here's where it gets wild. Online detectives started digging through DDG's old live streams and pulled timestamps proving he was on live during the exact moment Hailey claimed he sent him. So let's be real.
So hold on. So now,
one of the things Hailey said in that report was that DDG supposedly showed up to her house uninvited, snuck into her bedroom, took a photo of her bed, and sent her a message like, "Now I know what you've been on." She said it felt super invasive, like he was accusing her of stepping out on him. But if this man was streaming the entire time, how could he have possibly been creeping around her place in secret? Either he cloned
I don't like that, man. I don't like that, bro. And you know what's crazy? I like Chloe too. I think she's gorgeous. You see what I'm saying? But if she's with all of this foolery,
But
Can't
something
do
about
it.
that trip rubbed fans the wrong way.
She was
Haley was on
messing
social media
with.
It's a crazy
That's
situation.
No man in sight. Just
Burna
out there
Boy?
having peaceful mommy time with her baby.
No,
Who?
Then boom,
the other
DDG
guy
slides into her
that was
text and
in
hits
the
her with,
Rico
"You out there with Brett
thing
Faye?"
and snitched.
And Haley responds, "Not
Who?
with any man out here. I have Halo." But still,
Young
people were
Thug?
speculating heavy
She was messing with Young
No,
Thug.
not Young
Some
Thug.
fans
The guy that snitched and the
You know how many people
And
snitched?
he- and
Takashi,
then he didn't go to jail.
or chaos.
No,
And
he
that's
was
when the
black.
conspiracy hit social media
Gunna.
like a wrecking ball.
Yeah,
yeah, she was messing with Gunna.
yeah.
She was messing with Gunna. She was
He's
messing
weird.
with Gunna. I forgot she was.
He
And then
was
he
wearing
got
weird
out,
clothes.
and they not messing with each other no more.
Well, they stopped before he got arrested.
Oh, they
I
stopped
think.
before it. Oh, okay. I thought they stopped because he got arrested. It was like, ain't no future.
I don't even know.
Cause she messed with artists. She does mess with. Well, she used to mess with Burna Boy. I saw her kissing on him, and then
she had she played leapfrog with Samson Idris. But
for the
on
movie,
the
for the show,
movie,
yeah,
on the show.
yeah, I remember that. That was crazy.
But why you trying to be like that? You was a good girl. Well, I don't know.
She
Not
wasn't
really.
no damn
She was
good girl.
dating Diggy on Grownish, and they was doing Grownish.
Exactly.
Oh,
Honestly, the
Exactly.
timing does seem a little too perfect to just ignore. DDG's music numbers were climbing, his YouTube channel was booming again, brand deals were rolling in, and he was picking up serious traction with the new fan
Hating,
base.
bro.
And then out
They
of
be
nowhere,
trying to assassinate your character. Corey Holcomb was right.
I said Rock Nation was behind it.
I told you,
They
bro.
sent them the bottle.
I told you.
Ace of
They
Spades.
sent him Ace of Spade bottles. You see what I'm saying?
are both saying the same
Yo,
Well, that's what people
I'm
are saying.
telling
We
you,
don't
bro.
know the
Jay
validity
next,
of this.
bro. Jay next. And I know we don't want to hear it, but Jay next. Yo, it's about to be a whole bunch of shit connected to Jay. And then they're going to try to get him out.
DDG left her because she. Listen,
I
That's
heard
what
that.
Shay Frost.
I heard that already.
Yeah.
I think I sent that to you.
Real shit.
Of course, that's exactly what people expected him to say, right? But behind closed doors, folks are now questioning if Hailey was really the sweet, innocent Disney princess she seemed to be. Word is, she was allegedly the one
If
getting
something
physical,
gets flying,
and DDG
that's
just
why I
got fed up
don't
with all the
want to open
disrespect.
it.
Yeah, there was a little
Word
fly
says
by
DJ is
the
just
light.
backing up his homeboy out of loyalty.
It's
Think
flying
about
by the
it.
light.
What would he even gain from lying like that? He's risking his own name by
Yeah.
speaking out, so that says
It
a
was
lot.
something bigger than that.
But if you needed one more
Nah,
reason to
hell no.
question that innocent image
He
Hailey's
was
been holding
stepping
on
on my
to,
foot
check
and
out this
saying
video
I'm sorry.
that just
That's
popped back up.
crazy as hell. It be little subtleties, bro. Like, you stepped on this man's foot and didn't even say sorry. That's foul. Like, that let me know all I need to know.
oh, that's her.
Yep.
So she be crashing out.
She be crashing out, bro.
It's on video now, and that's a serious problem for someone who just got a domestic violence restraining order in their favor. But let's keep it real. That order wasn't handed out just for the vibes. Hailey submitted photos that convinced the court to take her side. Still, here's where things start to look a little off. If that chipped tooth turns out to be fake, and those bruises can't be backed up with any official medical report, this whole case might start falling apart. And don't forget the part where Hailey claimed DDG broke into her house, snapped a pic of her bed, and texted her saying, "Now I know what you've been on." Well, online detectives came through strong and pulled up DDG's live stream, showing that he was live during the exact same time she said he was creeping in her room. Unless DDG's got teleportation powers, that might just prove she was stretching the truth. That one clip alone got a whole chunk of the internet switching sides. But it doesn't stop there. According to Hailey, during one of the drop-offs, DDG allegedly went off after she wouldn't let him take Hailey because they were both sick. She says he got mad, smashed her ring camera, snatched her phone, took off in his car, and tossed her phone out the window yelling, "Go get it!" That's wild and true.
But
Here's where it gets even
bottom
Hailey
line,
claims the ring camera
wow.
got the whole
We'll share the video in the description. But bottom line, don't always believe everything you hear.
Yeah, people be lying. They be lying to not look bad.
That part.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, any closing details?
Stay away from liars.
You got anything? Me, my friend. Well, that's all, folks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Hefa.
Chris O.D.
SmileyJizzle.
Wanted to be.
And we out.